Are you a Bitcoin bull? I'm a Bitcoin bull. If you're a Bitcoin bull, this is what it looks like or will look like if all of your bullish dreams come crashing down. I mean, I really like to think I do a good job talking about the downside, even in my bullish videos. Bullish videos get me more views, everybody. I'm just going to throw that out there. But I try and do a good job. I really do in giving the downside scenario. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to just throw this out there. This is a bearish video because I've been doing bullish videos. And this is what it will look like. This is at least what I'm anticipating if somehow the bears win. Do I necessarily think that's going to happen? No, I don't. However, I talk about being prepared for upside and downside targets. Here we go. This is what it looks like. This is solely a short-term, mid-term bearish move for Bitcoin, and this is what it looks like. The question for you is, are you prepared if it happens? I know many of you are. I've been reading all of your comments lately. Many of you are. So let's jump into this video and talk about it. First off, here's the weekly chart. The biggest key area we're talking about, we're watching, is this RSI right here. This RSI line on this momentum oscillator. It is a picture of momentum for Bitcoin. In the last bull market, Bitcoin bounced off this area over and over again in its higher lows to the bull market high. The question is, are we getting ready to do something similar with the first bounce of support, true support, for its first higher high and higher low into the next bull market? If that fails, this is what I think will most likely happen. So if we look at the weekly chart, there's really just a really key area that I think Bitcoin will revisit, and it will be very accurate, I think. So the swing low in March that we had, a very crucial, dramatic swing low to our swing high that we just had, and this was back in the mid-August. That was our swing high. Bitcoin retracement, the bearish move for Bitcoin, continuation to the downside, right? Looks like a move to the 7,000 area down to the $5,500 area. An incredibly volatile area, an incredibly oversold area. Again, I started this video saying I don't think it's going to happen. This is the most dramatic bearish scenario that I think could play out and could lead to a multi-month bearish move, and the articles that would come out. Twitter would be just, it would be a little depressing on Twitter if this happened. But this is an area that is, it really is possible. But Bitcoin would be breaking over 10 years of patterns and consistencies and harmony on the charts if this happened, and we'd really have to have a different tone. Really, if Bitcoin breaks the 50 moving average, currently around $8,600, and stays below it, not just wicks below it, but actually stays below it and puts in multiple weekly candles below the 50-week moving average, Bitcoin will be entering a new era. And the Bitcoin charts will not be as consistent as many had hoped they would remain. So this is the move that we'd be looking at, 7,000 down to 5,500. Could we get a bearish move that's not as dramatic? Yes. And it would look like probably a move to the 50 moving average. Apparently there are a lot of whales with buy orders in the 8,000s waiting for a move like that. Will it come? That is something to be prepared for. The other thing is this: if we open up these momentum oscillators again and actually look at the MACD, right? You can see these swing highs. This was the bull market high, 2017. This was last summer. Now we're putting in a lower high. This looks so ugly. And you can see the MACD line crossing the signal line, once again getting ready to cross the signal line. That's not very good looking. That's not a bullish indicator. But I want to point this out, right? And in a bearish scenario, we're going to get a hard cross below that line. I do want to point this out, though. We had similar setups right at the beginning of the last run, right? The bullish run that Bitcoin had going into 2017 almost had a cross here on that MACD. This was spring of 2017, right when things were getting ready to get a little crazy. And then, every higher low along the way, almost putting in a MACD cross on this MACD signal line. It didn't happen though, right? These were actually very bullish retracements. These are those 30 to 40% pullbacks that Bitcoin had along the way to finally that swing high $20,000 bull market high. So just keep in mind, as you know, you look at this MACD chart currently on the current weekly charts, you know, similar thing could happen. It could be kind of a fake out and the bears might lose. But again, this is a bearish video, so can't spend too much time talking about that. That's the weekly chart. Looking over here at the 6-hour chart, actually, before we do that, let me actually change this weekly to a daily and actually speak to this, because if we go and zoom in on the daily chart, there are some things that we need to anticipate in the mid-term, the short term. Two things mainly. The head and shoulders targets being hit, which just happened. That was the first bearish move. This was the first bearish confirmation in this potential midterm bearish move, right? So head and shoulders we're looking at is this: left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I talked a lot about the bullish scenario that this would fail. It would be a failed head and shoulders. I mean, maybe I was just reaching for the stars a little bit too much. It didn't happen. We broke the trend line here, the neckline right here, and Bitcoin hit the target of that head and shoulders. This could be the beginning of this longer term bear move. This could lead to an overextension if the bulls fail to get back above this yellow trend line. And that's a very key trend line that extends to the bull market high in 2017. If the bulls fail to get back above that line, Bitcoin could be getting ready in the short term. We're talking probably the next couple of weeks or so to make a really strong move to the downside. And in these very volatile times, we talk about overextension from that blue line, the 50 moving average. We currently are looking at around 7% overextension. Actually, right around 9-10% overextension. Nothing crazy, very commonplace for Bitcoin. But when we get into the 20% range, 30% range, that is when Bitcoin is getting very volatile. That is when you start beginning to, I start beginning to question, well, is now the time to heavily accumulate Bitcoin? If Bitcoin were to get overextended 30% from the current 50 moving average, we're looking at Bitcoin in the 7,000s. 20 to 30% is a heavy accumulation channel for Bitcoin. And you can see this is that weekly Fibonacci retracement that we were just looking at. We talked about at the beginning of the video, 7,100 or so to 5,500 or so. So will Bitcoin get that low? Potentially not. We might wick above that area in the 20 to 30% overextension range, $8,000, $7,500. There's going to be a lot of people, in my opinion, accumulating Bitcoin. We get a hard bounce out of that area, and that's what it would look like on the daily chart for Bitcoin. Could we capitulate into this channel? Absolutely, but I'm telling you, I do not see Bitcoin doing that. And number two, if it did happen, I don't think Bitcoin will be trading there very long. That's a very nice, heavy accumulation area for Bitcoin. Going over to the actual 6-hour chart, I mentioned this all starts right now, and we have two key areas on the short term to watch for. And if the bears win, if all your dreams do come crashing down, it's because of this. These two areas, the $10,500 area, the green line, that's the neckline of a very long-term inverse head and shoulders that Bitcoin has broken to the upside, currently testing this, got to get back to the upside, but Bitcoin will fail at this area, 10,500, if it can muster up the energy to even test it again. And then there's that yellow line, that key trend line extending back to the bull market high. So if we look at the range, Bitcoin currently so close to that very confluent area of resistance, 3 to 4% away. All it takes is a little bit of a move for Bitcoin to get into that area, to test that area, and we'll see what happens. If Bitcoin fails, we do have this falling channel. There is a breakout target right down here to like the $9,300 area. That will be the next bearish move after this head and shoulders move that we got hitting our target. The next bearish move is $9,300, potential bounce down there in the low 9,000s. And then we continue to track Bitcoin as it struggles, as the bulls struggle to take over. That's the bearish scenario. That's what we're looking at. Are you ready for it? I'm ready for it. Not even scared of it. Not even worried about it. Long term, everybody, I am so bullish here is why Bitcoin on the yearly chart with a price label at $100,000, because, well, that's the next stop. And you can see I put a little snapshot. This is the yearly chart. Looks like a staircase. It's like a staircase to success, a staircase for the bulls to $100,000. Lastly, everybody, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Follow me on Twitter. I did a little update today. Few things. I have a team of developers building you a next generation portfolio tracker mobile app, iOS, Android, coming soon, everybody. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. I'm not going to tell you the features, but they're features that you've never seen. So follow me on Twitter and here on YouTube as I get ready to launch that in the next couple months. I mentioned DeFi pulling me in. It's not going anywhere, but be careful with it. So if you're in that DeFi groove, I get it, but be careful with it. And then lastly, I'll slowly be introducing partners, sponsors in place of YouTube ads, likely this week. So I'm trying to get rid of YouTube ads slowly, and we're bringing on some legit partners. So if you see me talking about companies in the crypto space, that is why. Not trying to sell out, but I am trying to get rid of some of these YouTube ads. And yes, it is nice to be compensated for my efforts as we grow this channel. I appreciate you coming by. Let me know your thoughts about this bearish scenario. What do you think is going to happen? We'll see. Time will tell. Be prepared. Have an awesome rest of your night. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.